Good afternoon. So this class we are going to discuss the anatomy of frog, particularly the digestive system. We are going to discuss the digestive system of frog. So digestive system. So listen. So you know the digestive system is meant for the digesting the food. It's related with nutrition. That ingestion, digestion, absorption, that assimilation of the food. So that takes place. So in this system, this is responsible for digesting the food. In all organisms, the digestive system, it is composed of, consists of the alimentary canal, or gastrointestinal tract, and the certain glands which are associated with the alimentary canals. They are called the digestive glands. The digestive system, which consists of basically it consists of the alimentary canal or gastrointestinal tract and the digestive glands. So if we take the alimentary canal, it starts in mouth. So what are the various regions or components of the alimentary canal or gastrointestinal tract? Is that opening, it's called mouth. The opening is called mouth. And the mouth leads to the buccal cavity. After it's like the human. That opening is mouth. Then after the mouth is the cavity. It's a buccal cavity. Then buccal cavity leads to this buccal cavity, and buccal cavity leads to pharynx. Then next is the pharynx, and pharynx leads to esophagus. A short narrow tube. It's a esophagus, and the esophagus then. Next to the esophagus is the stomach, where the food or temporarily stored. Then stomach, esophagus after the stomach, and after the stomach is the small intestine. After the stomach is the small intestine. Here the small intestine, which is divided into that U-shaped duodenum, then ileum, U-shaped duodenum, and the that coiled that ileum, and then next is the rectum. That leads to ileum, leads to the rectum. Rectum, where the fecal matters are stored temporarily, rectum, and digested waste materials are stored, rectum. Then rectum, the next region is the clayoka. That clayoka that opens exterior through the clayocal aperture. So these were the components simply. It starts in mouth and ends in the clayocal aperture. Clayocal aperture. Mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus, then stomach. After the stomach is the duodenum, ileum, rectum, clayoka. Clayoka opens exterior through the clayocal aperture. This is that components. In the sequential order it is arranged. The digestive tract or the alimentary canal or intestinal tract. And now we are going to discuss what are the structures of each and every part of the alimentary canal. I know that mouth leads to that leads to buccal cavity. It's wide, spacious, cave-like region, cavity, buccal cavity, vaikuழி. What are in the buccal cavity? What are the structures are seen? Mainly, it's a long, sticky tank is there. Buccal cavity. Listen, that buccal cavity which has a large muscular bifid tongue is there, naku. See here, somewhat peculiar, the tongue which is a large muscular muscles made up of and sticky in nature. And sticky in nature. Why sticky? It's to catch the insects. Okay, it's sticky, otum, glued tongue. Here imagine tongue, we also have tongue, that is the tip, it is called anterior, and that behind it is the posterior. So our tongue, that posterior end is attached, it's attached with the base of the buccal cavity. Anterior end is free. For us, anterior end is free. But here, just reverse, opposite. Here, that anterior end is free, posterior end is free, pinadi. Anterior, front end is attached. Okay, same tongue, நமக்கு என்ன இருக்கோ அதே தான் tongue அங்கேயும். But நமக்கு வந்து anterior end free-ஆ இருக்கு, posterior is attached. But here, that posterior end is free, anterior end is attached. Okay, anterior end is attached, the base of the buccal cavity, whereas the posterior end is free. That is free behind, that means back side, it is free. அப்போ டங்க் இப்படி இருக்கும் பாருங்க, லிசன். இப்போ நம்ம டங்க் வந்து என்ன பண்ணுறோம், பேக்கில் அட்டாச் ஆகிருக்குது. ஓகே, பிஹைண்ட் இட் இஸ் அட்டாச், தட் இஸ் போஸ்டீரியர். அண்ட் நம்ம இப்படி டங்க் எப்படி பண்ணுறோம், அது என்ன பண்ணும், டங்க் அது என்ன பண்ணும், தட் இஸ் இப்படி த்ரோன் தி டங்க், அப்படி தூக்கி போடும் அப்படி. ஏன்னா இங்கே அட்டாச் ஆகிருக்கு ஃப்ரண்ட்டில். பேக் சைடு என்ன பண்ணும், அது என்ன பண்ணும், இப்படி இப்படி தட்டி என்ன பண்ணும், டங்க் அப்படி தூக்கி போடும். ஓகே, ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி அந்த ஃப்ரீ எண்ட் இருக்குது பாருங்கள், விச் இஸ் ஃபோர்க்குடு. இங்கே பாருங்கள், ஃபோர்க்குடு, divided into two, that is forked. ஏன் அது, why, ஏன் இந்த மாதிரி this arrangement? If suppose if the frog, it catches the small insects and feeds, suppose the frog, it sights an insect, it flicks out its tongue, அதான் flicks out, it thrown, okay, it thrown its tongue over the that prey or food, that small insects, so that the insects which were stick on the that glued tongue, gluedனா கம், ஓகே, ஒரு கம்மா ஒரு மாதிரி இருக்கும். ஓகே, அதில் வந்து it is attached, it is that insect which is stick on the that glued tongue, and then it's it withdrawn. Okay, it's get back and closes its mouth. So thus it catches the food with the help of the long bifid sticky muscular tongue. That anterior end is attached and posterior end is free. முன்னாடி பக்கம் அட்டாச் ஆகிருக்கும், பின்னாடி பக்கம் ஃப்ரீயாக இருக்கும். That free end is forked. That free end is forked. See, listen, free end is forked. Buccal cavity. And also, so we are discussing the buccal cavity, tongue, it is the one organ. And next is a row of small pointed maxillary teeth. Maxillary teeth, which are found in the upper jaw. Jaw இருக்கு நமக்கும், upper jaw, lower jaw. The upper jaw is called maxilla. Lower jaw is called mandible. இது mandible னு பேர், இது maxilla. அப்போ there is the teeth in the upper jaw. Upper jaw, maxilla. So that is called maxillary teeth. Since its maxilla is known as upper jaw. Upper jaw. Upper, the teeth, a rows of pointed teeth are there. Okay, teeth are there. That is called maxillary teeth. See here, that is the teeth. And also, in addition to the maxillary teeth, a group of very important, two groups of the teeth which are curved inwardly. அப்படியே point, that is என்ன ஸ்ட்ரைட்டாக இல்லை, அப்படியே curve ஆகிருக்கு. இப்போ அது inwardly, that curved, the two groups of teeth that are called omerine teeth, very very important. It is a omerine teeth. See here, this is nostril. Behind the nostrils, two groups of omerine teeth. அது அந்த நல்ல பாம்புக்கு விஷம் பார்த்துட்டு இந்த ஃபேங்குன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க, விஷப்பல். அது எப்படி இருக்குன்னா, தட் இஸ் அது வந்து இப்படி இன்வர்ட்லி அது வந்து கர்வ்டாக இருக்கும், உள்பக்கமாக அப்படி பெண்டாக இருக்கும். ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும் அந்த ஓமரைன் டீத். டூ குரூப்ஸ் விச் ஆர் ஃபவுண்ட் பிஹைண்ட் தி அந்த நாஸ்டில்ஸுக்கும் பேக் சைடில் இருக்கும். ஓகே, டூ குரூப்ஸ். தட் மெயின் ஃபங்க்ஷன் ஆஃப் தி ஓமரைன் டீத் இஸ் ஸோ தட் நம்ம சொன்னோம் இல்லைங்களா, இன்செக்ட் என்ன பண்ணும், அந்த டங்கில் ஸ்டிக் ஆகும், தென் இட் கெட் பேக் தி டங்ஸ். அப்போ இந்த டீத் வந்து க்ளோஸ் ஆகும். அப்போ இது வந்து தட் டீத் ஓமரைன் டீத் ப்ரிவென்ட் தி எஸ்கேப் ஆஃப் தி ப்ரே. வாய்க்குள்ளே வந்த ப்ரே வந்து எஸ்கேப் ஆகாமல் பண்ணும், கேட்டை போட்டுரும். ஸோ அதுதான் தட் இஸ் தி ஃபங்க்ஷன் ஓமரைன் டீத். ஓகே, in addition to the maxillary teeth, two groups of omerine teeth, that is important. This is important. 2 marks point of view or 1 mark point of view, this is important. What is omerine teeth, right? Its function. Okay, and upper jaw, there is a teeth, it's a top teeth. As we discussed earlier, there is maxillary teeth. So what about the lower jaw, the divide of teeth, no teeth. In lower jaw, no teeth. Lower jaw is a divide of teeth. Okay, mouth, buccal cavity. What are the structures, major structures found in the buccal cavity? Teeth, types of teeth and tongue we have discussed. Then that's all over. And mouth, that is buccal cavity. Then buccal cavity leads to next to the mouth. Then buccal cavity, this is the buccal cavity. That opening is mouth, that buccal cavity. Then next to the buccal cavity is the pharynx. Pharynx. Tondan sollamla, tonda. Pharynx. Then pharynx, next to the pharynx is the esophagus. Okay, pharynx. Pharynx, next to pharynx is the esophagus. Esophagus நம்ம எப்படி டிஃபைன் பண்ணலாம்? How we can define the esophagus? It's a short narrow tube that connects the, இங்க பாருங்க, இதான் stomach. So which connects the stomach and the pharynx. Pharynx ஐயும் stomach ஐயும் நமக்கு அதேதான். Pharynx ஐயும் stomach ஐயும் கனெக்ட் பண்ற ஒரு narrow tube, a short narrow tube இருக்கு பாருங்க. That is called esophagus. That is esophagus. இதான் வந்து esophagus. Okay, it's short narrow tube. It's simply the conduction, otherwise no any specific function, simply the conduction. And esophagus opens into the stomach. It is a large where the food are stored temporarily, and a part of the digestion also takes place, not simply storage, also a part of the digestion takes place in the stomach region. That is stomach region. Reason that after the food reaches the stomach, the walls of the stomach contain some enzymes and secrete HCl. Okay, HCl and the enzymes. That food is partly digested, and the partly digested, that is called the chyme. And that chyme is now it is passed into the small intestine. That small intestine, and the small intestine, which is divided into, as I said already, it is U-shaped duodenum. U-shaped. This is the stomach. After stomach is the small intestine. That U-shaped region is the duodenum, and then next is the ileum and rectum. Okay, it proceeds here. That duodenum, it is very important region. Here the major digestion takes place in the duodenal region. Okay, here that liver and the liver and pancreas are there. Liver and so pancreas are there. So that secrete the enzymes. That the pancreas secrete pancreatic juice, and liver secrete the bile juice. That bile juice emulsify the fat, So emulsification, it's saponification, it's nothing but it convert the insoluble fat into soluble form. That bile juice, liver secrete bile juice, that bile juice convert the insoluble fat into soluble form. So that is called saponification. Okay, then pancreas secrete pancreatic juice that contain enzymes so that digest the carbohydrate, the protein and fat, everything. Okay, after the digestion, that food is absorbed in the ileum region. In the ileum region, small finger-like projections are there that are called villi. So that absorbs the digested food. After the digestion, that food reaches the rectum and through the Clayoka and anal, that is clayocal aperture, that undigested that food material which were sent out, and see that glands. The next is the glands, that liver and pancreas. I said already. What are the functions of the liver? Liver secrete bile juice. I said also the functions. Okay, the digestive process. Already I said the digestive process. After the it's ingested the food, that stomach, what are the functions? Hydrochloric acid and the other secretions, gastric juices. Gastric, always that word related to stomach. Part of the digestion takes place in the stomach. Its food is converted to semi-solid, that is chyme. And then what are the process that takes place in the small intestine? Okay, just we have discussed. And what is the function of the bile juice that emulsify? That mainly that bile juice is very important. Bile juice contain liver secrete bile juice. Bile juice not contain any enzymes. Okay, not any enzymes. It contain bile salt, bile pigments. It simply emulsify the fat. That emulsify the fat. So this is the digestion. Okay, the digestive structure and the process of digestion. So that takes place in the frog. Okay, so this is about the digestive system of the frog. I hope you all have understood the process, the structure of the digestive system, also the process of the digestion. Okay, this is the structure. And why here I used one word here, the undigested food which is sent out through the Clayoka. What is Clayoka? Usually we use the anal opening. Why here that opening is called Clayoka? Why it is called Clayoka? Because this opening, the clayocal aperture, the Clayoka, it's a common opening for the excretion, reproduction, also that egestion, undigested, sending out the undigested waste materials. So for all these three, that takes place through a common opening called a clayocal apertures, Clayoka. Okay, one common opening serves all the three functions. So that's why it is called the Clayoka. If it is anus, only meant for the undigested waste material. Here egestion, that is undigesting waste materials, excretion, also reproduction, everything takes place through the common opening. So that's why this is called Clayoka. Okay, that's all. Then digestive system, I hope you all have understood. Okay, well, the next system is the respiratory system. Respiratory system. So we are going to discuss the what is the unique feature of the that is respiratory system. Respiratory system of frog. That frog, it is amphibious organism, animal, amphibious mode. That means able to live in water, on land, so that it also develops the respiratory system dual mode. That is in water, okay, it's able to respire also on land. It's two different methods of the respiratory system, that modes. It develops two different types of the respiratory organs. Okay, respiratory organs, namely, when suppose that when the organism, animal is underwater, okay, underwater, it cutaneous respiration, it respire through the skin. It respire through the skin when the animal is in water. When the frog is in water, with the help of the skin, skin it respires. That respiration through the skin is called cutaneous respiration. Cutaneous respiration. By the process of simple diffusion, okay, that is water, it is in water. The oxygen is dissolved in water. The dissolved oxygen, see this, the second half, what is given here. So through the skin, this is that green color, this is skin. So through the skin, that oxygen is diffused, it goes inside. Okay, then similarly that carbon dioxide, from the organism, that is sending outside. No any specific other than this. Very simple process of diffusion, that dissolved oxygen that going inside through the skin. That skin here acts as the respiratory organ. Okay, respiratory organ. The respiration through the skin is called cutaneous respiration. A cuticle, that outermost covering, so that related with the skin. Okay, that cuticle, that is cutaneous. That means skin. Respiration through the skin is called cutaneous respiration. So this type of respiration takes place when the animal is in water. When the animal is in water. தண்ணிக்குள்ள இருக்கிறப்ப இது பண்ணும் through the skin. That is cutaneous. Then land. So if it is in land, that is on land. Landல இருக்கப்ப அது எப்படி பண்ணும்? Listen. Buccal cavity, skin and lungs, all the three. Also skin is also when it is on land. Buccal cavity and lungs, lungs, respiration through the lungs is called pulmonary respiration. Respiration through the lungs is called pulmonary respiration. Respiration through the buccal cavity is called buccal respiration. Respiration through the skin, all the three modes when the animal is on land. Okay, on land. So எப்படி சார் பண்ணோம்? என்ன buccal respiration னா என்ன? நம்ம நார்மலா through the nostrils, listen, through the nostrils that air goes inside. Okay, when it reaches the lungs, in lungs alveoli is there, alveoli. That is air sacs, which are thin walled. That what is that? That exchange of the gases takes place in the alveoli, a special organ. Buccal respiration, when air reaches, that is goes inside the buccal cavity. Through the buccal cavity, that walls of the buccal cavity, that diffusion takes place. That is buccal respiration. So, see, listen, how this mechanism, when animal is on land, how it respires, what is the mechanism? Okay, in buccal respiration, we are going to discuss the buccal respiration. Okay, in buccal respiration, buccal cavity, in buccal respiration, the mouth remains closed. Why mudiyum? Mouth closed, remain closed. Mouth close ஆயிடும். இங்க பாருங்க என்ன பண்ணும்? But nostrils open ஆயிருக்கும். அப்ப என்ன பண்ணும்? In the floor of the buccal cavity இருக்கு பாருங்க, floor of the buccal cavity. இது வந்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா raised and lowered, raised and lowered. நீங்கள் பார்த்துருக்கலாம் நார்மலாக அந்த ஃப்ராக்ல நம்ம எங்கேயாவது இருக்கும், அது பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அப்படியே இருக்கும். இந்த லோயர் மட்டும் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா மேலே கீழே போயிட்டு வரும். நீங்கள் நல்லா பாருங்கள், அது பெக்குலியராக இருக்கும். ஓகே, அப்போ இது போயிட்டு வரப்போ என்ன ஆகும், இந்த பக்கல் கேவிட்டியினுடைய இன்சைடு வந்து அதனுடைய வாட் இஸ் தட் வால்யூம் இன்க்ரீஸ் டிக்ரீஸ் ஆகும். ஓகே, when coming down lowered increase ஆகும். அப்போ என்ன பண்ணும், through the nostrils air goes inside. ஓகே, when lowering, when it is raised கீழே வந்துட்டு மேலே போகும் இந்த 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 லோயர் போர்ஷன். அப்போ when it is lowered that air drawn inside which is raised என்ன ஆகும், உள்ளே போகும். அப்போ பக்கல் கேவிட்டி வால்யூம் டிக்ரீஸ் ஆகும். ஸோ தட் air coming out, expelled out, air goes inside, that reaches the buccal cavity where the respiration takes place. That is the buccal respiration. Buccal respiration. And see, the next is the lungs. See that first portion, this is the buccal cavity, that gaseous exchange takes place. Just now I discussed. The next is the respiration through the lungs is called pulmonary respiration. Pulmonary, that word related to lungs, pulmonary. Cutaneous, cuticle, that skin, cutaneous, pulmonary, buccal cavity. See here, the lungs, when on land it respires through the lungs, it is called pulmonary respiration. It is one mark question. The respiration through the lung is called pulmonary respiration. Lungs தெரியும் உங்களுக்கு, it is வந்து என்னது, pair of நமக்கு இருக்க மாதிரி தான், but smaller elongated pink colored sac like structures. புரியுதுங்களா, pink colored sac like structures எங்க இருக்கும், in the trunk, particularly thorax region ல இருக்கும். Chest region, நமக்கு chest region ல தான இருக்குது. Okay, that same mechanism, that air goes through the nostrils, that reaches the lungs. So here, so inside the lungs, that is the exchange of the gases takes place. Exchange of the gases takes place. It take the oxygen inside and expel the give out the carbon dioxide outside through the lungs. So already you know that is also that frog uses the skin when it is on land. So how usually generally if you see that frog, its skin is always moist, slimy in nature, always moist, ஈரமா இருக்கும். That is the oxygen which is present in the atmosphere, in the air, that dissolved, that oxygen, so which is dissolves in the moist surface of the skin. So from the that is, it is dissolved, that dissolved oxygen is absorbed, taken by the simple process of diffusion. By the simple process of diffusion, that oxygen, it is taken inside. So when the animal is on land, it uses the buccal cavity, skin and lungs. By using these three organs, it respire. Next is, this is a unique feature for this. At the time of the estivation and the hibernation, it respire only through the skin. That is that a cutaneous respiration alone takes place when the animal is, this is important, one mark question. This is important, one mark. Okay, only through the skin during the that is hibernation and estivation. Hibernation, estivation. பார்த்தோம், வாட்டரில் இருக்கப்ப only skin, cutaneous. Landல இருக்கப்ப buccal cavity, skin and lungs. Pulmonary, cutaneous, buccal. Okay, that's all. Sir, இப்போ இது வந்து ஒரு exception, okay, ஒரு unusual. When is estivation and the hibernation. You know what is estivation and hibernation? Estivation, it is the summer sleep. Estivation is the summer sleep. Okay, summer sleep. its hibernation is the winter sleep. Winter sleep, that is, it is poikilothermic. Body temperature fluctuates depending upon the surrounding, that is atmosphere. In order to escape from the extreme climatic condition, suppose what is that, cold winter season, that temperature goes sub-zeros, below the zero, -1, -2, -20, -30s. So that condition, it unable to survive, because in that extreme temperature, blood can clot. If blood clot, that animal will die. So in order to escape from that critical situation, it go down any safer place, any warm places it go, and it is some inactive stage, in the stage of inactive, without doing any work, just like coma. But only that life process, only that organs, to keep the body, it needs some energy, that only generated. So before that period, it knows when the winter season comes, or when the extreme summer season comes, it knows. So it feeds enormous food and store the excess of food in the form of fat. Okay, fat bodies are stored. So remaining maybe 2 months, 3 months, or 4 months, even sometimes 6 months also, half of the year, it will be that inactive stage. If it is during the winter, it is hibernation, that is called winter sleep. It is called hibernation. Extreme summer cold, that is estivation, a stage of inactive. That is, at that time, it respire only through the skin. Okay, that's all. This is about the respiration in frog. I hope you understood. Okay, today this session we discussed the 2 systems. Okay, any doubt we can discuss later. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye bye.